Subscribe to Bisbo and press the bell icon. See boring news turn into enjoyable stories. As you drive north from Mumbai, past the last districts of Palghar, Danu on the Mumbai-Surat National Highway number 48 and enter the state of Gujarat, the area there is surrounded by dense jungles. Often you can see leopards, wolves, jackals and all sorts of predators crossing the highway. Unmindful of their dangerous presence, Shiv Sena MLA from Osmanabad, now Dharashiv, Kailas Patil, was running for his life in this very jungle in the wee hours of June 21st, 2022, repeating to himself,
I have to get the news to Uddhavji as soon as possible.
8 hours earlier, on the evening of June 20th, 2022, after a session in Maharashtra's assembly, 7 SUVs with a dozen Shiv Sena MLAs left the South Mumbai premises of the Vidhan Sabha at 7 p.m. for a dinner party at the Yeur Hills, Thane, an industrial town about 45 kilometers to the northeast of the capital. In it, among others, was Eknath Shinde, the Shiv Sena leader in the assembly, and Kailas Patil.
Shinde Saab, all of a sudden, dinner plans? I want you to be in a relaxed mood at the farmhouse when we discuss the problems.
Kailas Patil was upset after a humiliating council election from earlier the same evening. How can BJP defeat our candidate when they don't have the numbers? MVA's Congress candidate Chandrakant Handore had been soundly defeated by BJP's Prasad Lad. And 10 days earlier, Sanjay Jadhav, Shiv Sena's candidate in the Rajya Sabha polls, had been similarly defeated by BJP's Dhananjay Mahapatra. On both occasions, BJP candidates did not have the required votes, but sailed through with the help of independents and cross-voting from Congress and Shiv Sena MLAs. Despite Uddhav's brave words to his flock of 55 Shiv Sena MLAs a day before,
I am sure about our victory tomorrow. We have no Gaddar traitor amongst us.
Nobody noticed then, but while all clapped at Uddhav's comment, Shinde was expressionless, busy cleaning his spectacles. Back in the car, Patil was tired after a long day and slipped into a small nap, only to be awakened after hearing a commotion. A fleet of police jeeps and cars with beacons flashing had encircled all 7 SUVs. Patil rubbed his eyes vigorously as if to wake himself from a dream.
This is not Godbanda road that goes to Thane. This is the Maharashtra-Gujarat border. Shinde Saab, why are we heading towards Gujarat? Operation Lotus has begun. Time to overthrow the Uddhav Thackeray government,
Piped in a laughing Chimanrao Patil, another MLA who was sitting in the SUV. Then looking straight into Kailas's eyes, Shinde asked him,
Kailas, are you with me or not?
By now, Kailas understood that he had been tricked and had no option other than to say,
Yes, I am Shinde Saab. Phone, huh? Hand over your phone. Remember, whatever anyone says, I am not a traitor. The fight is to rescue Shiv Sena from the crocodile grip of MVA. I am a true Sainik.
Kailas's phone safely in his pocket, Eknath Shinde then got out of the SUV to meet other MLAs sitting in other cars. 20 minutes later, the entire convoy got stuck in a huge traffic jam before the Gujarat border. Seeing his opportunity,
Toilet?
then noticing that nobody was keeping an eye on him, Patil disappeared into the jungles and ran as if for his life in the opposite direction towards Mumbai. Crossing the highway to the opposite side, Kailas hitched a ride as a pillion rider on a two-wheeler. Then for added safety, he got off after some distance and took another lift, this time from a truck driver.
Dahisar check naka tak chodo bhai.
It was 4 a.m. by the time he located an open phone booth in Dahisar, Mumbai's northern entry point, and dialed. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray was at his official residence Varsha, unable to sleep. After losing the council elections, he had tried to gather his men for a midnight meeting, but
Why can't I get in touch with so many of my MLAs? Why is it coming switched off all the time?
it was then that his door opened and an eyed with a phone entered.
Uddhavji, you have to take this call. Jai Maharashtra Uddhavji, I am your Osmanabad MLA, Kailas Patil. Eknath Shinde has rebelled with 12 MLAs. I was also kidnapped. Where are you now? Okay, stay there. I am sending a car to pick you up.
Almost at the same time as Kailas was making the call to Uddhav, unknown to either the caller or his CM, another batch of SUVs passed the highway carrying 10 more rebels. Uddhav responded to the crisis by sending his personal secretary Milind Narvikar and MLA Ravindra Pathak to Surat to meet Shinde the next day.
Tell Shinde to come back and sort out whatever grievances he has with me.
Shinde had only one grievance. Tell Uddhav ji to join BJP and form the government on the basis of Hindutva. Dump Congress and NCP, it's humming our party. Providing a litany of complaints of arresting the Ranas for chanting Hanuman Chalisa, permitting loudspeakers in mosques, granting 1.81 crore to modernize madrasas, not doing enough after 2 sadhus were lynched in Palghar, and questioning the RSS's role in the freedom movement. Since the formation of the MVA government in 2019, the NCP had cornered 4 key portfolios: finance, home, water resources and rural development ministry. Being finance minister, Ajit Pawar was in charge of disbursing funds, and half of the state budget went to his party's constituencies and just 17% to the Sena. Rank and file Sainiks were unhappy that their main adversaries were getting stronger.
In 45 constituencies, the main challengers of the Sena are either NCP or Congress.
Part of the blame rests on Uddhav himself, as he was almost an absentee chief minister, leaving decisions to his deputy Ajit Pawar. Paranoid after having 8 stents put in him, he avoided meeting anyone except his trusted lieutenants during the 2.5 years of COVID, who soon began to control enormous power, while the anointed heir Aditya Thackeray, a political novice as Minister for Tourism and Environment, began to question decisions and oversee files of senior ministers in other ministries, an explicit decision of Uddhav. If anyone dared raise their voices, they were expelled.
Aditya called me uncle, sat in my cabin, and then took away my ministry.
Uddhav Thackeray's own MLAs could not get in touch with him, and many were kept waiting for hours and still were not granted a meeting. And every time there was a political problem, the man Uddhav turned to was NCP strongman Shard Pawar, who seemed to be losing his touch as a rebellion brewed right under his nose, but he didn't get a sniff of it. Not even when Sena MLAs burned the midnight oil in their Vidhan Sabha offices late into the night. For 4 days, from June 16th to 19th, 2 days before the coup began, Shiv Sena Minister Gulab Rao sat late signing 18 files pertaining to water supply schemes in rural Maharashtra. This was unusual for the minister, who rarely sat late. What happened to Saab? He never stays so late every day. When will Saab go home? Gulab Rao joined the Shinde camp by hiring an ambulance and sleeping on the stretcher pretending to be a patient, all the way to the Gujarat border. Agriculture Minister Dadaji Bhuse too cleared files in a hurry. In just 4 days, 5 Shiv Sena ministers of the MVA government signed 280 orders worth 1,600 crore, $200 million. And before MVA leaders could realize what was happening, 5 of 7 Shiv Sena ministers had joined the Shinde camp, whose strength had now swelled to 34 Sena MLAs and 7 independents. Just short of 37 Sena MLAs that would make it 2/3 of the party's total, the magic number that would make him safe under the anti-defection law. The BJP, having burnt its fingers once with a 78-hour government in 2019, was proceeding with abundant caution this time around, keeping themselves in the background and only providing logistical support. Realizing that Surat was too close to Mumbai for comfort, Shinde moved them all to Guwahati, Assam, another BJP-ruled state, where Piyush Hazarika, a pointsman for Operation Lotus, kept a hawk's eye to thwart any infiltration attempt by MVA emissaries. To prevent a rerun of 2019, when the NCP had surreptitiously evacuated 4 of their MLAs from a Gurgaon hotel and brought them back to Sharad Pawar's camp. This time, one rebel MLA, Nitin Deshmukh, decamped on his own directly from Guwahati airport and returned back to Uddhav's camp. I was given injections and kept back forcibly by the Shinde camp, to which the Shinde camp responded by releasing a picture of Deshmukh parting with fellow rebel MLAs in a chartered plane. In Guwahati, there was a moment of truce when some rebel MLAs prevailed upon Shinde. Eknath Dada talked to him. He is Balasaheb's son. Maybe he will agree to our demands. Okay, call him. But when they did, according to Ramdas Kadam, leaders around Uddhav started calling them names. But those were just words of desperation, as by then Uddhav's peace emissary Ravindra Pathak himself moved to Shinde's camp. And the outcome was left in no doubt when on June 26th Uday Samant, the only non-Thackeray Shiv Sena minister left, flew to Guwahati with more MLAs and joined the rebels. This is not the first time that Shiv Sena has seen a split. It has happened thrice before, but it always bounced right back. In 1991, senior leader Chhagan Bhujbal defected to the Congress with 18 MLAs. Narayan Rane too left in 2005 for Congress before later moving to BJP. But the toughest was the 2006 split between cousins Uddhav and Raj, with the latter going on to form his own party. None of these managed to shake Fortress Sena. But for the first time, there has been a simultaneous rebellion from all corners of the state, posing a challenge to the Thackeray brand itself, with rebels calling themselves Shiv Sena Balasaheb, projecting themselves as the real Shiv Sena, attempting to take over the election symbol of the bow and arrow. But Uddhav Thackeray will not let go so easily. Shinde camp can use their father's name, but not Balasaheb. He is my father. He appointed new Shaka Pramukhs, 100 new office bearers, and launched an online membership drive. For damage control, he visited 10 regions of Maharashtra in 4 days, more than what he did in the last 6 months, filing cases in the Supreme Court to disqualify rebel MLAs, disallow Shinde to use Sena party symbols, disqualify Shinde appointed Speaker of the House, and recognize my party whip. As under the anti-defection law as it stands today, the rebels cannot take over their old party but must merge with another party. But who the rank and file will vote for will only become clear during the BMC elections in October 2022, which Uddhav will continue fighting as part of the MVA. But let's look at one final political twist before you leave. The winners here are clearly Eknath Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis for pulling off this spectacular coup. Therefore, Fadnavis, expecting to be rewarded with a ministry at the centre, publicly proclaimed, "We will support the Shinde government from outside." But if there is any potential competitor to Amit Shah's power, they are Nitin Gadkari and Devendra Fadnavis, both of whom are Nagpur born, where the central leadership of the RSS sits. So keeping Fadnavis away from Delhi was key, and eventually Prime Minister Modi himself intervened and convinced him to be part of the Shinde government. After Shinde was sworn in as CM, Uddhav joked during a party meeting, "An auto driver whose brakes failed as it was running too fast," alluding to Shinde's humble beginnings as an auto driver in Thane after he came there from the western Maharashtrian city of Satara. To which Shinde tweeted, "Auto rickshaw speed has overtaken the speed of a Mercedes car," alluding to the Mercedes car Uddhav drives. Now which car is going to win this race? Let's see in October. Bisbo's limerick. The race for Maharashtra is truly on. The whole Thackerays once had is now long gone. A contender emerged, a rebellion surged. Who owns the bow arrow is where the line will be drawn. You will also find these sources listed in our video description section.